I used to think that everything I was doing was to make myself happier, more successful, to get to where I wanted to go. Reading this book, I realized that my biggest fear was actually being disliked by other people. And in worrying so much about what other people thought of me and being so scared of being disliked, I realized I was living life for everyone except for myself. Hey everyone, I'm Abhas, and today we're going to talk about the formula for happiness. This is something I learned about in the book The Courage to be Disliked by Ichiro Kishimi and Fumitage Koga. This is a book that a friend of mine recommended to me, and it is essentially a defense of Adlerian psychology. In it, it's a conversation between two people, a philosopher who's explaining his ideas for living a happy life, and a youth who constantly is refuting and contradicting what this philosopher is saying with pieces of his own life. Eventually, as the conversation goes on and on through the course of 5 nights, you see them eventually reaching an agreement and a conclusion, where the youth realizes that a lot of parts of his life were tied to the idea of being afraid to be disliked by other people. And the philosopher leaves this youth with the amazing idea that the courage to be disliked is the formula for happiness. There are a few things in this book that really challenged me and made me realize that I was living life in a way that I was not proud of. I realized that I was so concerned about what other people thought of me that I decidedly was living a life full of unhappiness and doubt. By following some of the steps and ideas and exercises in this book, I felt like I was able to release a burden within myself. This burden of feeling the need to appear a certain way, to be liked by people, to feel like I need to be seen and recognized. Because what I was actually missing was simply self-acceptance in myself and confidence in other people. In this video, I'll be breaking down several of the ideas that are presented throughout the book, how they affected me, as well as what you can take from this as a formula to happiness to apply to your own life. The first idea that the philosopher presents is called the separation of tasks. This essentially deals with the idea that all we can control is ourselves. In controlling other people and intruding on their tasks and their lives, we are creating unhappiness and imbalance within our relationships because we are trying to control things that are completely out of our control. So your task is actually best defined by asking the question, who will suffer the consequences for the choice that is made in this task? Now, the author actually illustrates this with the intimate relationship of a parent forcing a child to study. In this scenario, the philosopher argues that a parent commanding their child to study is intruding upon the child's task. At the end of the day, the one who's suffering the consequences of not studying for school, exams, etc. is the child. Now, the parent may come through and say, I'm doing this for your own good. In reality, the philosopher argues that this is only actually for the parent's good. Whether it's for their own desire to control their child or appear a certain way to their child or other people, the parent is simply doing this so that they can achieve their own goals. So applying this to our own lives, the fact of the matter is, worrying about what other people think of you is not your task. What other people think of you, what they believe about you, anything that they might say, think, feel is not your task. Their choices, their beliefs, their thoughts are only affecting their lives, not yours. All you can do with regard to your own life is choose the best path that you believe in. On the other hand, what kind of judgment do other people pass on that choice? That is the task of other people and is not a matter you can do anything about. Freedom is being disliked by other people. When you are worried about what other people think of you, you are then living according towards their life value systems. When your number one concern is being recognized or being viewed a certain way, you are no longer living your own life. You are living other people's lives. You may be giving your power away and throwing away who you are in order to satisfy the needs, expectations, and desires of other people. And turning that around a bit, wouldn't you say that living a life primarily being worried about what other people think at all times is possibly the most self-centered way to live? So the courage to be disliked is then the formula for happiness. In being willing to be disliked by other people, we are choosing our own freedom. The philosopher then breaks the courage to be disliked down into a further formula. The first piece of that is community feeling, or believing that other people are on my side. Now, this piece is actually made up of two parts. The first is self-acceptance. In saying, I accept this me, I'm accepting all of me right now. Not me when I've lost weight, not me when I'm successful, not me when I've written a book, me right now. Once you've done the separation of tasks, you know what you can control. From there, you can decide, I can change these specific aspects about my life and myself so that I can be the person I want to be. And everything else you can accept. Why do you focus only on your shortcomings? And why have you decided to not start liking yourself? It's because you are overly afraid of being disliked by other people and getting hurt in your interpersonal relationships. The second piece of believing people are on my side is unconditional confidence in others. We're all afraid of getting hurt, of being betrayed. And sometimes our past wounds come back and tell us that rather than risk being betrayed or being hurt by other people, we'd rather just not have any interpersonal relationships at all. In reality, you can't ever escape getting hurt in interpersonal relationships. It's actually impossible. The philosopher argues that when you place doubt at the core of your relationships, they will always crumble. Another person can detect in an instant that this person does not place confidence in me. And what kind of basis does that have for any kind of positive relationship? Deep, positive, mutually beneficial relationships are all based on trust. Being able to be open, share yourself, be honest, without fear that you might get hurt. At this point in the conversation, the youth actually fires back. But what if I'm betrayed? What if being honest, open, and placing that unconditional confidence in others leads to me being taken advantage of? The answer the philosopher provides is, that is not your task. It is not your task to worry about whether or not you are betrayed by another person. That is actually the other person's task. And in trying to control what another person is doing, you are creating more of your own unhappiness. If one can simply accept oneself as one is and ascertain what one can do and what one cannot, one becomes able to understand that taking advantage is the other person's task, and getting to the core of confidence in others becomes less difficult. So seeing people as on my side is, I accept this me plus placing unconditional confidence in others. This is the part that blew my mind, because I realized that the opposite of this formula was lack of self-acceptance plus fear of betrayal or getting hurt equals seeing people as my enemy. I realized that for months and years, and possibly a lot of my life, I was living seeing other people as my enemy. This killer combo of not accepting myself as I was and placing this doubt in other people meant that I was sowing a life full of unhappiness, doubt, and fear. So learning about this community feeling, this other people are on my side, was incredibly impactful for me. But that's only just one half of this equation. The other half is contribution. The philosopher says that when someone is able to believe that they can contribute, that I am of use to someone, that they're able to find their own self-worth. And this courage to be disliked, this formula for happiness we're talking about, he believes that courage can only come when one has that self-worth. So why do we seek recognition? Why does anyone go out and want to seek that recognition from other people? The answer is that we all want to be liked. We all want to feel like we are of use to someone. And getting that recognition from someone is that quick and easy way to feel that sort of fake contribution in that recognition from someone else. But if you do feel that sense of self-acceptance, you won't feel the need to be recognized by other people. In having that self-acceptance, in that contribution, in placing unconditional confidence in other people, you won't feel the need to be recognized by other people in order to feel like you have value. In other words, the person who feels the need to be recognized and liked by other people has not found true self-acceptance, has not placed unconditional confidence in others, and not found a way to contribute in a way that makes them feel that they are of use to someone. So this formula for happiness is actually fairly simple. It's self-acceptance plus unconditional confidence in others, which is that community feeling or feeling that other people are on my side, plus contribution equals happiness. And that happiness is also the courage to be disliked. But actually, a lot of these are interconnected. So why don't we think of it a different way? So because I can accept myself fully, I can accept this me, I can place unconditional confidence in others without the fear of being betrayed. Because I can accept myself and also place that unconditional confidence in other people, I can see others as on my side. And because of that, I can contribute to others and find that sense of I am of use to someone. And because I have that inherent self-worth from knowing that I am of use to someone, I can then again accept this me. So rather than a formula, this is actually a cycle of happiness, with each piece being attached to the last. And to begin the process of self-acceptance, one has to start with separating their own tasks from others. One can change what's in their control, accept what they cannot, but then land on full acceptance of this me. So since I've read this book, I have been able to change a lot of pieces of my own life. I realized that I was living out of so much fear and doubt in my life. In being able to find full acceptance for this me, in being able to place that unconditional confidence in others, I've been able to contribute by creating YouTube videos like this. My own lack of self-acceptance and fear of betrayal or getting hurt or being humiliated were the reasons and the core for why I didn't feel safe to put myself out there. And now that I've found those two pieces, it's kind of a no-brainer in being able to contribute and help other people by sharing parts of my own self. It kind of, it's taken a lot of the fear away from me. So I'd invite you to ask yourself, what are the areas of your life that you might have found that through this process, this cycle, this formula, that you have not integrated yet? Do you have trouble completely accepting who you are right now? Are you afraid of getting hurt and being betrayed by other people? Do you see other people potentially as your enemy? Or maybe you haven't found the right thing that allows you to find that you are of use to someone. All of these pieces are incredibly important, and they helped me realize and open my eyes to the fact that I was the one holding myself back, not anyone else. I'd like to leave you with a quote from The Courage to be Disliked. What should one do to not be disliked by anyone? There is only one answer. It is to constantly gauge other people's feelings while swearing loyalty to all of them. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the content of this, I would highly recommend checking out The Courage to be Disliked. It's an incredible book. You might also like some of my other videos here. And if you like my content, feel free to subscribe and share this video with anyone you think might find it valuable. I hope you show yourself some kindness today. I'll see you in the next one.